Welcome to the night section. Now, a lot of these rappers, especially in the past 5 years, with the influx of the Lils coming into the game, have made it fairly obvious that lyrical ability is not where it once was. This is not to discredit the Kendrick Lamars and J.Coles of the world, but our generation, or a majority of our generation, is more concerned about melody, also known as shit just sounding good. This era has really highlighted our overall state and may be very telling of our society today. Our shorter attention spans, our need for instant gratification, us needing one dopamine hit after another. And it's not looking so good. In my opinion, the art form of hip hop is not where it once was. I don't know if we're going through another disco era, but I'm hoping that more conscientious hip hop is brought back to the forefront. And it's not just about spitting that lyrical miracle, it's about musical integrity. I hate to say this, but maybe us having gatekeepers in the past wasn't such a bad thing, because now everyone feels like they can just hop on a beat and rap. Saying that you're a rapper in 2021 doesn't hit the same as when you said it back in 2012. It seems that with hip hop, it's a free-for-all, but with other forms of art, there's some sort of barrier to entry. But anyways, that's enough of my short rant. The point is that a lot of these newer artists just have not impressed me. It seems that everyone sounds the same and talks about the same stuff over and over and over and over again. Except for Roddy Ricch. Now for today's video, I'm actually going to explain why I think Roddy Ricch is one of the greatest artists of this generation, mastering the art of melody rap, and give a brief example of how he showcases his musicianship. So let's get into it. So no lie, I think Roddy Ricch is one of the best artists out right now, if not the best. His sound is the more evolved version of what they call nowadays melodic rap. But like a lot of other people, he didn't hit my radar until the song The Box. Personally for me, when I heard that song, it was very refreshing to hear. His sound was the more refined, fine-tuned version of Speaker Knockers, with a combination of Young Thug and of course of his own style and cadence, and a flow that was unmatched, just skating on the beat like the beat was made for his voice. I think he has one of the greatest flows I've heard in a very long time since Young Thug came out. And if we really break it down in terms of songwriting, you'll actually understand how much of a musical genius he is. But before we do that, just a bit of a background on him and his come up. Roddy Ricch, born Roderick Wayne Moore Jr., was born October 22nd, 1998 in Compton, California. To keep it short, he had a rough upbringing, growing up having to get involved with the street life out of necessity and survival. He describes in an interview that at 15 or 16, he was kicked out of the house, and that's when he got really active. When he was younger, his grandma immersed him into the Southern culture, as she was from Louisiana, which you can tell in his music as you can hear some of that Southern influence. And he's no stranger to the rapping art form, as he's been writing since he was 8 years old. It was only in the last couple of years that he really decided to take this art form seriously. Growing up, he also recounts going to church with Kendrick Lamar. He describes in an interview how he knew Kendrick was going to be big and was actually one of the main reasons he wanted to be lyrical with his music. Another fun fact is that he also spent some time in his early years living in Atlanta. In November of 2017, Roddy Ricch dropped his first mixtape titled Feed the Streets, which got the attention of a lot of established rappers like the late Nipsey Hussle, who he would later develop a solid relationship with, as well as drop their first and last song together titled Racks in the Middle. The song is very special to Roddy and is the song that got him his first Grammy for Best Rap Performance. Roddy heavily credits Nip for helping him get to the stage of his career that he is in now, and also one of the first and only rappers from the West Coast to really co-sign him. In his memory, Roddy got the infamous prolific tattoo tatted on his face as well. In 2018, he dropped Feed the Streets 2 with hits such as Hood Rich, F It Up, and Chase the Bag. And in December 2019, he dropped his debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, entering the Billboard 200 charts at #1 with the hit single The Box. As I mentioned earlier, he didn't hit my radar until then. I was very late to the party, But listening back to his old projects and singles, you can hear the overall improvement and pure consistency of just making great music. This leads me back to the argument of why I think he is one of the greatest musicians in hip-hop, at least in terms of musicality and songwriting. Let's look at the box, for example. Everything from the beat, notably the 808s, to the added ad-libs, flow, lyricism, the mix of the vocals, everything literally went right. And it went #1 purely off the strength of the song actually being good. But why was the song so good and so captivating? So I'm going to try and briefly explain that to you guys right now. Let me just say that making a hit song is never really an accident. You don't just put random words together and it becomes a hit. A lot of the times, it is very methodical in its approach, whether that be consciously or unconsciously. From the very opening of the song, we can hear an almost orchestral type loop that adds suspense and mystery, similar to what you hear at the beginning of a face-off between two shinobis in a movie, with the added ad-lib pitched to perfection, just adding to the suspense. Then all of a sudden the listener just gets hit with the drop of an 808, which has no choice but to grab your attention. By the way, shout out to the main producers 30 Rock and Dat Boy Squeeze, who did the main production on this. A job well done. I learned recently that the intro was actually not a sample, but just a VST plugin using Omnisphere. But back on topic, we can hear Roddy Ricch's ability to make a catchy hook as soon as the beat drops. His ability to just flow and effortlessly change his style and move from just straight up rapping to almost full out singing. Like he goes from pulling out the coupe at the lot, told him F12, F SWAT, busting all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box, had to put a stick in the box. Where you see he is basically rapping but melodically, and as you see, he's using multi-syllabic rhymes with at the lot and F SWAT rather than your typical lot, which naturally rhymes with bot as an example. And moving further down the chorus is where he literally sings, pour up the whole damn seal, I'ma get lazy, I got the mojo deals, we've been trapping like the 80s. As you can see, how quickly he switches up the cadence, and literally to break the rhyme pattern, instead of just rhyming box with box again, he adds melody rhyming lazy with 80s, which overall gives it a catchy feel in my opinion. So two things is one, the way he's rhyming and bending words, and two, his ability to seamlessly go from one type of style where he's rapping with melody to him full on singing. And the kind of melodies he's pulling off on this track specifically is very reminiscent to a Young Thug, and how Young Thug is still able to keep a catchy melody but switch into another seamlessly while still maintaining the tempo and fluidity of the song. Next, I want to discuss the lyricism in this song, moving on to the verse. This is obviously not your conscientious, lyrical Kendrick Lamar type of verse, but I think lyrically, Roddy Ricch gets his message across using clever wordplay and imagery in his verses. Example, in the first verse he says, "Lot of N-words out here playing, ain't ballin', I done put my whole arm in the rim, Vince Carter, yeah." Referring to him working hard and dudes really just playing themselves. Him being in his own lane with his grind. Another line that I really enjoyed was in the second verse when he says, quote, "I'm a 2020 president candidate, I done put 100 bands on Zimmerman-ish." Now the line, the "I done put 100 bands on Zimmerman-ish" was real slick in his cadence, basically saying that he's here to get the job done. And again guys, this was just a very brief breakdown, but you guys can let me know if you want to see a full song breakdown that I could do for Roddy Ricch or any other artist, and I'd be glad to get it done. But overall, the point is to show you guys some things to look out for when listening to a hit song. I feel like the combination of Roddy's flow, and I almost forgot to mention his vocal inflections and his ability to hear pitch and when to pivot from one flow to the other or one melody to the other, is incredible. And he does it to a degree that it almost seems effortless, as if it was just naturally how he sounds. But obviously he's put in a lot of work to develop his sound. His music not only sounds good, but there's a perfect balance of him having the melodies and the hooks, but also lyricism, in the sense that his lyrics aren't aimless and have meaning. The majority of his music is about his life in the streets and struggle, as well as his come up. I think everyone should take the time to listen to his music, especially if you're an aspiring artist and really want to understand how to captivate an audience musically. And I hope he's around for a long time, which I think he will be. But guys, that's all from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification if you do want to see more. Night Section out.